They charge women here to touch their baby after it's born.
If you know me, you know I will never miss any chance whatsoever to criticize any Western country for that matter, but most especially the US and Germany. And how wait. Let's not get offended. Okay? I know white American patriots and their love for their country. My fatherland. Please, your fatherland is in Europe. Let's start there. Shall we? Let's start there. But that's besides the point, because tell me why the entire fuck you will call yourself a civilized nation when parents that have to go to work can in many cases not do so, because if they were to go to work and then, they are depending on childcare, they cannot afford the childcare that enables them to go to work. So rather than doing that, they stay home in poverty so that they raise their own children because they can't afford daycare. That's not all. Mind you, any country in the world, it doesn't matter if it's a Western country, any country in the world runs on the labor of the middle class. Any country in the world runs on the labor of the middle class. Take it in before you think, okay? How then do you make education that the middle class needs to keep running the country so inaccessible that when these people finished getting their education, they are now thousands and tens of thousands of dollars in debt? You need them to work, but for them to work, they need a certification. For them to get a certification, they need to pay an arm and a leg. And do you know what's the most funny thing about all that is? It is not as if that's the standard globally. No, it's not. Other countries in the world, for example, Germany, which please calm down. I didn't say Germany is a better country than America, which it is, but let's not get into it, okay? Oppression is oppression everywhere. I'm not pointing fingers because the call comes from inside the house. Germany too has a lot of issues. We have a lot of issues, okay? One issue that has something to do with oppression or with medical racism, that's a global thing. It's in the US and it's in Germany, okay? So let's get that out of the way. In Germany, education is free. Childcare, daycares, kindergarten is free. Primary school, free. High school, free. University, free. University is free for citizens. And there are still private universities, but at the end of the day, it's free. You only pay a semester fee of like around 250 to 350 euro every 6 months. Okay, but that contains other things. However, education is a right, is a human right. So there are countries in the world that are already doing better than the US when it comes to their citizens. There are countries that are leading by example when it comes to medical care, when it comes to the educational system, when it comes to anything that has something to do with you starting your life. And then the US is just there like, we don't give a fuck. We like to exploit our people. We like to exploit our citizens. And that's insane. That's completely and fucking insane. The US is just a third world country with a fucking Gucci belt on. Y'all have nothing, okay? The US has nothing to boast of. The US has been at war 97% of their existence. You can Google that. The US has been actively at war 97% of the time since it came to existence. Let that fucking sink in. No other country of the world has so many military bases outside of their own country than the US in the name of bringing peace. We've all seen the peace that the US brings to the world. Y'all don't even have peace in your own country. A few days ago, there was yet another school shooting. Y'all can't even get gun control in check. Y'all can't even get basic medical care so that even the people that serve your country can receive medical care. And you continuously point fingers at other countries, calling them this, calling them that, when literally the call comes from the center of the house, like the call is calling, okay? This is a country that sends millions of US dollar abroad for another country, it's not real, to have free healthcare, but cannot provide free healthcare for their own citizens. And it all boils down to racism. And I know y'all hate to hear it. Y'all hate to hear it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Because a country that was founded on racism, that was founded when Black people were not legally considered human beings, can never be just for everybody. That's facts. That's not debatable. Take your constitution and shove it up your ass if you wish, okay? It doesn't make your country just for everybody. Especially when it took you until 2019 to legalize the Crown Act and quite literally make it convictable for Black people to be discriminated upon because of their hair. Y'all are so fucking backwards, it's insane. A country that was built on particularly Black and Indigenous labor. Until 2019, it was completely normal. And even now, even though the Crown Act is very much in place, Black people are still getting discriminated upon because of their hair. That's not civilization. That's not civilization. Okay, I hate to break it to you, but that's not civilization. Your own citizens not affording insulin when they are being diabetic is not fucking civilization. You charging a mother for skin-to-skin contact after giving birth is not fucking civilization. It's not. And those of you that might be doubting it, the BBC literally reported upon this. That's not a fucking internet hoax, okay? By the way, what in the actual fuck is 13,000 US dollars to give birth to a child? $13,000. Okay, and then they'll be like, oh, after insurance, I only paid 3K. What do you mean you paid 3K to give birth to a child in a country that should be providing free medical care for everybody? That's insane. That's absolutely insane. And do you know what the reasoning is for said skin-to-skin contact? There's an additional charge associated with bringing an extra caregiver into the OR. The charge is not for holding the baby, but for the additional caregiver needed to maintain the highest levels of patient safety. What the fuck do you mean by that? What the fuck do you mean by that? Charges associated with facilitating skin-to-skin contact after birth are functions of nursing time. Y'all are mad, okay? Y'all are absolutely insane. That's that. So let me just summarize this. A country that doesn't have free healthcare, free education, that charges people thousands of dollars to give birth to their own child. Their own veterans cannot afford basic medical care because of the lack of health care. A country that charges people tens of thousands of dollars to get an education that the same country needs to be continuously walking is insane. And that's not civilization. Let's just come to the mutual agreement that the US is not a civilized country. Being at war 97% of your existence is not civilization, baby girl, okay? Let's come to the mutual agreement that the US is literally just a third world country. They put a Gucci belt on it and they be like, yeah, let's call this civilization because you all whitewashed it. The US is called a civilization because it was whitewashed. Because if the US was not a predominantly white society by force, it would never ever be labeled the greatest power or the greatest country in the world. The American dream is the biggest scam of since I came into existence, okay? The American dream has got to be the biggest scam of the 21st century. Please. And if you're a white American and you take so much pride in your country, just give me one time in history where America was great for all people. I shall be waiting, okay? One time, all people. Because you're on stolen land, remember that, okay? Thank you.